Yeah.
But David, sorry, I'm going to interrupt here, David. You haven't mentioned work or money. You said God, you said each other, you said family. But money is important. Why are you not mentioning money?
Because it's...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Mike and Christelle podcast, where family meets faith and fun.
Today we have been joined by David and Brenda. Welcome.
Thank you.
David.
Thank you.
Hello, Brenda.
Hello.
We start with ladies. Ladies first, and hello, David.
G'day, mate. How you going?
G'day, mate. How you going?
We've known you for quite a while, and we just love your marriage. We look at you. We love the way you are. You go to adventures together. You like just the way you do life. We look at your post on social media. We're like, oh, these people are beautiful.
Yeah.
Good, it's working.
It's working.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we hear that you are grandparents. So how long have you been married for?
So in September this year, 37 years.
37. Are you
37
sure?
years. No.
37.
You don't look that old.
Married when we were 10.
No.
Yeah, married when, that makes more
You
sense.
look really young, and you have grandchildren. How many kids? How many grandchildren?
So we have two children, Rachel and Jono, and they're both married, and we have 7 grandchildren.
Yeah.
7 grandchildren.
Lovely.
Wow.
That's beautiful. How does it feel to be grandma and grandpa comparing to mom and dad?
So we're Mama and G-Pa.
Mama and G-Pa.
What is the G? Grandpa.
Jeepa, but it has to be cool.
Yeah,
Jeepa.
that's
Come
right.
on.
Yeah.
Cool. But it's awesome when you've got so much time as grandparents.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
Okay.
so the kids turn up and they just trash our house in the best possible way, and we run around chasing them, having fun, and there's no pressure, no stress, and just
Wow.
stir them up and send them home.
Yeah. They
It's
send
the
them
best.
home.
Yeah.
But you kind of enjoying more being grandpa and grandma than the stress of being just young parents.
Oh no, it's different.
No, just different role.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
different.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
It feels different.
Feels different, yeah.
Okay.
Because you have the responsibility of children, and
Yeah.
so you have to make the decisions and care for them, and but micro children.
Yep.
Yes.
But when you're grandparents, you can just enjoy them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So you
Oh,
can
yeah.
enjoy their personalities, and you
Yes.
can have fun with them, and
Yeah.
without the responsibility of everything.
Everything.
So it's a very different role.
Yeah. Oh, that's
and
good.
it's cheering your children on to be
Yeah.
the best parent
Yeah.
they
That's
can
good.
be.
Yeah.
In our role as grandparents as well.
So today we are talking about priorities in marriage.
Yes.
Priority in marriage. And for 37 years, I believe you have really learned a lot along the way. You can share some of the wisdom you've learned on that journey. Can you tell us how did you come up with the idea that you have to set your priorities, reorder your priorities? Are there any mistakes you made that led to that conclusion? How did you come up with that?
My recollection as young people before we were married, both our families were gave us Christian principles.
Yeah.
However, we both had things that we didn't want to do
Yeah.
that we'd experienced.
Yeah.
And both of our parents were great parents.
Yeah.
But it's like we actually had that conversation and said, well, when we get together and get married, we want to create this.
Yeah, that's so good.
And we want to be like this. We didn't want to just let happen whatever happened, because
Yeah.
I was really aware that if that was the case, you'd probably just go back to your default setting, which is what your life experience was.
Yes.
And so it's like, no, we want to be proactive,
Yes.
and we want to be this.
Yeah.
So tell us what this is. What are the things you decided, we want to create this, we don't want this in your marriage? What are those these?
So a simple thing would be, I was the fourth with 4 children.
Yeah.
And my elder children would pick on me sore, tormented.
I hope they're not listening.
Hope they're not watching.
They know. And so that was not going to be allowed in our family.
Yeah.
So there was not to be any tormenting between our two children.
Yes.
So around the tea time table, people were allowed to say whatever they like and not be tormented or laughed at.
Yes, yes,
and so
yes.
they had to have each other's back.
Yeah.
So at school, they had to be looking out for each other.
Yeah.
So that was something that
Yeah.
was a decision right from the start
Yeah.
of we don't want this, we want this.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
beautiful though. Like it's beautiful that you guys like were intentional from the get go.
Yeah.
It's not. I think it's really rare. I feel like I'm feeling it's not really
Yes.
common.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing. for that.
Most couples, people make mistakes first and then learn from those chaos. and
Yeah, I mean,
mistakes.
not to say that there's anybody who's perfect or anything.
No.
It's just that the fact that you guys had principles that were there, and you were like, we are going to make sure this how we're going to make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Mate, we made mistakes as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
Ask our children.
Well, I was
But we
thinking
did the
too, when
best.
we first got married, like we moved to a new town. Like,
Yeah.
so that was, we got married and moved to a new town as a married couple.
Yeah.
And so our priority was we wanted to find a church.
Yes.
And because I'd come from the city, it was like, I want to live in a house,
Yes.
not in a unit.
Yeah.
And we want to find a church and get established in a church.
Yes.
And so that was one, we understood
Yeah.
that was our family.
Wow.
You know, so you get involved in a church and that's your church family.
Yeah.
And so straight away, you've got all these people that you can love and care and they love and care for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
so each time we moved a couple of times.
Yeah.
Every time we moved town, that was priority. Find a church.
Yeah.
And even if it took a couple of weeks of going to different churches, finding that place where you think, yep, this is home, this is where we'll worship, but it
Yeah.
was a high priority to find a church.
Wow.
What are the things that you prioritized and the thing that you really don't? You
Like
put
what?
at
What,
the
what
bottom of
are
the
your
list? So
no's?
what are your
Yes,
priorities?
because I heard
How do
somewhere
you
when they said that when you say yes, that means you say no to something. So when you
Yes.
say something, if you say
Yes.
what are your no's and yes?
Yes.
And they don't have to be like they don't have to be like personal or anything, but
Yeah, yeah.
yes and no.
So
Yes.
I see priorities as there's foundational priorities for your life. And our foundational priorities, God first,
Yes.
each other,
Yes.
Yeah.
family,
Yes.
and church.
Okay. So God first.
Yep.
What do you do to put God first?
Well, we read the Bible together,
Yeah.
we pray, we seek direction. Like
Yeah.
if we do that together,
Yes.
and any decisions, we pray about, we seek God. Like we're not just sort of floundering out here wondering what's going on. We
Yeah.
feel like God's got a plan for our lives.
Yeah.
And we've felt that right from the start. It's and so by reading the Bible and praying together, we feel like we're on the same path, and that's the most important thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the second one you said,
Is each
Yeah,
other.
each other.
Marriage.
Each other.
And marriage is important.
how does it look like to prioritize each other?
By spending time together.
To spend time.
Yeah.
For us,
Yes.
it's time together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Time together.
For
Yeah.
us.
Quality time.
What do you do?
So a simple thing of David's fortunate enough to come home for morning tea and come home for lunch. So I would sort of plan my day. So I would go out in the morning for an hour and a half or whatever it is, so that I would be home
Yep.
to have morning tea together.
Yep.
Or I'd go, if I'm going to ladies group, connect group, I would come home so that I would be home for lunch
Wow.
together.
Yeah,
So
wow.
I just plan my day knowing when he's home. So I want to be home. So yes.
Yeah, and it's that. I think it's that thing we want to be with each other.
Yeah.
It's not as like, oh,
Yeah.
you need to be home because I'm at home.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we want to be
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
So it's,
we're best friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we just enjoy spending time together.
And I remember listening to a preacher come one time and they
Yes.
said, they talk about the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But his comment was the grass is always greener where you water.
Yeah.
So, if you water your marriage,
Yes.
that's where you want to be because it's rich and fertile and green and lovely and lush. So if you're spending time together and enjoying each other's company, where else would you rather be?
So good.
But some couples, sorry, I'm just curious to know because 37 years really you you must have done something right. So we need to know what that is. Some couples don't really feel like enjoying time together, or they don't feel like when they are together they're enjoying it. Like, what did you do to make your time enjoyable? Because some people can be together and not feel like they are enjoying being together for some reasons. How did you come to a place where you feel like you want to be together?
I think things are a choice too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, you could choose to go with the girlfriends or to the pub or something.
Okay.
But it's that, no, my priority is David.
Yes.
So I will give that up so that I will spend time with David.
Yes.
And there was times when, you know, life was hard with teenage kids
Yes.
or,
Yes.
and, you know, we weren't necessarily, there mightn't have been the joy there.
Yeah.
But because I had decided that this was my priority,
Yes.
Wow,
that
Okay.
was
Brenda.
not going to change.
Yeah, wow.
So, Brenda, you're saying that it did not start just automatically. It was not just organic. You started by a decision. It was, there was a friendship, but also there was a decision in it. Like, we need to put each other first, and then it became organic after that. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it was right from the start. Time was precious to both of us. We
Yes.
loved spending time together.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think outside forces can test your priority. And I think then you make the decision. No,
Yeah.
this is my priority.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
Because we were just kids,
Yeah.
and so we didn't really think too much, like systematically, about what your priority is.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And you're exactly right. It's like when those things come in, and you've got to go, whoa,
What is that?
what is that?
Yeah.
How do we respond to that?
Yes.
Yes.
And then you move forward from
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and then you know, as you grow, and we basically grew together.
Yes.
You know, and so we grew together making those decisions.
Because many people start as friends. Many couples, you start like lovey-dovey. Like, you start like, oh, you want to be together. You spend 4 hours over the phone in the night. Like, the grass is green.
Yeah.
The grass is green here.
Yes. Yes.
And then, as you said, other forces start to come in. Maybe you have children or jobs and stuff. You move town, as you said.
Budget, my not favorite. Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And all those things start to affect your relationship. But you chose not to allow those things to enter in your between the two of you by choosing to be together. That's what you did. You stayed together.
Yep.
Still valued your time together.
Yep.
Wow.
And when you look at priorities, like God, each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you look at life decisions,
Yes.
if that's second,
Yes.
it's like, oh, do you want to go and do this? Oh, that's not a really positive thing
Yes.
for my wife.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's up there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's not like Brenda's, third or fourth rung.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's like that's what I think about when I
Yeah.
make decisions.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. And the third one you said was, oh, sorry.
Oh, yes, family.
Family is
Yeah.
the third one.
Yes, very
So
much so.
what do you do to make family as a priority? How does it look like?
You give.
Yes.
You give. Like as a mum and a dad and a grandma and a mama and a jeepa,
Yeah.
you give.
Yeah.
And and you follow the example that God gave to us.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good.
And sometimes you could justifiably not give,
Yes.
or justifiably say things that could be said,
Yes.
but you don't say it
Yeah.
because you think, oh, that could put a wedge in here or a wedge in
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and you think, no, my family's a priority, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. It doesn't need to be said.
Yeah.
But David, sorry, I'm going to interrupt here, David. You haven't mentioned work
Yep.
or money.
Yep.
You said God, you said each other, you said family, but money is important.
Yep.
Why are you not mentioning money?
Because it's not the priority that we
Yeah.
set. So, yeah, tell the story of Narrabri with
Yeah,
your boss.
we were blessed financially.
Yes.
But just to have a job. Like, when we first married, like I was in the police force back
Yep.
then. You didn't earn a lot of money, but
Yeah.
I loved doing it, so it was
Yeah.
great. So and because we built on Christian principles, we did the tithing thing.
Yeah.
And so we just felt that was an important thing.
Yeah.
We're so old that back in the day we got paid with a thing called cash.
Yes.
Yeah. And we actually
I remember that. I think I'm also old.
Yeah.
So we had envelopes
Yeah.
that we'd divide our cash up. So, church money, shopping money, fun money,
Yeah.
bills money, and
Yeah.
would go in the little envelopes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
So that's what we did with them. So it was like, oh well, that's just what we've got to spend for the week. If we've got $5, it's like, woohoo! Or if we've got nothing, it's like, oh okay,
Yes.
how are we going to have fun this week?
yes.
And that was our attitude.
Yeah.
But I was at one stage I was in a work environment where my immediate supervisor said to me, well, my attitude is that I work so that I can supply my family's needs. So my work is more important than the family. So if there's a work priority, you need to put that above your family because that's financially supporting your family. And I get that. I understand, because I can't judge what his priorities are. And he was a great bloke.
Yeah.
But that's that thing when you're confronted with it. I had to go, well, hang on, no. That's not my priority, So I've my life is different to that, and so I'm at work. I work hard. I love my job, but my family's more important.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so as a result of that, we transferred and went to another town.
Yes.
And it was a bit of a the whole process took a while. So it was you say it and it's easy, but we had to live through it, and it was quite difficult.
Yeah.
Yes.
But until we were confronted with that, we knew that that's what our priorities were.
Yeah.
But until someone says, I think this is what your priority is, that's the time when you go, oh, is it?
Yeah.
And I think the important thing for me too was that if you don't know what your priorities are,
Yes.
people will tell you.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then you'll go,
So good.
that's what I'm meant to do.
That is
So if I didn't
good.
know or wasn't strong enough to go, well, hang on, no, I would have gone, okay, well, that's work's more important.
Yeah.
So are you saying that your work serves your family, not the other way around?
Correct, yeah.
Like your family doesn't serve your work. So what are some of the decisions you've made that made you suffer financially or stretch a little bit financially to keep your family healthy?
Okay, so for me, as I said, I was a policeman. I was in the police force for 20 years.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow or chase promotion in the police force, you need to move to different towns, a lot of different towns, and that's just the way it is. And lots of people do that, and that's fine.
Yes.
For us, we'd made the decision for our family when the kids started school. Like we were happy that we moved around a few times before they started school, but for us, it was a priority for our children to be established in a community, in a school community, in a church community with their family for their period of their growing up.
I love that.
And
So
so we transferred to Tamworth
Yeah.
from out west when the kids started school.
Yeah.
And so there was lots of opportunities for me to go and chase promotion and go and do this or do
Yes.
that. But we went, no, we're here. And this is what we're doing.
Wow.
And you see the fruits of that down the track.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so you just keep working and you do your thing. And if there's an opportunity here, I put my hand up and I did that here. But if there's opportunity somewhere else, it was like, oh no, I don't do that. I'm staying here.
That is
Wow.
so good.
That's a big sacrifice.
I don't think so. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
People say that, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, because you intentionally from the beginning know your priorities, so it doesn't feel like a sacrifice.
No,
and
it's not. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because what's my priority? My family's up there.
yeah, because you have like your
So-
why is so big.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
Wow.
bring it down to weekly and daily. Compared to work, compared to money, what are some of the sacrifices you've made to keep your family as a priority weekly or daily? If
there's
there's some
any.
examples that you can give us, because some people can make a decision to stay in a town, not to move, because that was a big sacrifice, but still get busy in that small town that the family is not even benefiting from seeing them. So how do you make time with your family? Or is there any decisions you've made to for example, be able to go to church together with your family on Sunday, jobs that you turned down, opportunities that you missed on a weekly basis, because sometimes people will have that your business requires that you work Saturday, you work Sunday, so you can make more money. But some people will say, no, I have a family that I want to be with at church on Sunday, and they stay. They miss that opportunity. Have you done something like that?
Yes, we'd share about.
It's probably a priority of serving God, God being the priority, and our family. So I love playing hockey.
Yeah.
And when we came back to Tamworth, had the skills to be able to play first grade hockey.
Yes.
And when I first came back to Tamworth, we were playing on Friday night, so I played first grade. And then they moved it to Sunday morning. So I played probably about the one season. So we would go to church. It was a small church that we were part of, so we were on music nearly every Sunday.
Yes.
So we would go to church as a family, but I would then leave straight after worship and put my hockey gear on and race out to the hockey fields, or I'd miss out on being at church, or miss out on being hockey. And I then decided, well, what's important? In the big scheme of things, my relationship with God, encouraging people with worshipping with my family at church is a higher priority than playing hockey. So I chose then to play third grade, which was Friday night, so that I could go to church with my family and I could serve God worshipping Jesus, and worship leading. And so with that, my skills obviously in hockey depleted. Wasn't as good as I could have been. But in the big scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Who cares if you play hockey or not? But it's important to go to church as a family and to worship, and for your kids to see that church is a priority. Worship Jesus is a priority. So that was a big thing.
That's a big thing. That's a big thing, because we've seen that similar example. Many people struggle to go to church on Sunday because that's when most sports, they move them on Sundays. And people just abandon church as a family. And some people, and I'm not against people making money. You made a big sacrifice, because the more promotion you could have, could make more money. But you chose to sacrifice that. Though you sacrificed money to stay in one place and raise your family, I think.
You understood. It seems like from the get-go, and that's what I like about you two, is that from the get-go, you understood that everything eventually comes from God.
Yes.
So God has to be first.
Yes.
And once you have that mindset, it's really difficult to get it
Yes.
wrong. It's really,
we made mistakes. And early on, one of the mistakes we made with priorities, like with money, was like to it wasn't a mistake, but to give money to the church. And that's a biblical principle. That's what we did. But there was a stage early on when we were struggling with cash. And it was an issue. And I mean, most major arguments in marriage relationships are about money. Absolutely. And so we were in that place, and so it's like, we just can't afford to do this. So whether it was for one pay or two pays or whatever, we just went, no, we just cannot do this. And it was crazy, because our whole attitude towards money changed in a negative way. We were like counting every cent and thinking about money more important than anything else. And
there was no peace at home. It was just
horrible.
So it was like, no, I think we need to go back to tithing again. And it was just nearly instant. Really.
It was, and it's exactly what you said. It's your attitude. And so it's like money's not the ruling thing. Where if we went, no, we can't afford to do that, and we couldn't afford to do it, but it's a godly principle, so you do it, and God provides. And
so when you stopped to give to God because you were going through hardship, money became a god.
Well, somehow,
it started to control your mind all the time.
You thought about it all the time.
Wow. That is such a big
revelation.
Thing. I'm telling you, because so many couples are struggling because of money. And some people have a lot of money, but they're struggling because of money. And it's just strange how it's just important when you say that, when you said, rightfully we're going through a hard time, and it makes sense logically to not give it away. And if someone else can be like, why are you giving the money? Like, are you okay? You know, it's a godly some principles you can't explain them to everybody.
Yes.
No, exactly.
It just works. We
It's-
don't know
that's
how.
Yes.
And then when you decided to control your money, that's when the peace left. But when you decided to give it, even if you didn't have, that's when the peace came back. And so
Wow.
that is such
I
a
love
big
that.
lesson.
I
Big
love
lesson.
But you also have to be wise.
Yeah.
You have to be
Yes.
good stewards
Yeah.
Yes.
with your money.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's things that we went without
Yeah.
because we didn't have the money.
Yes.
And you've got to be okay with that because there's a higher priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, you know, every priority there's sacrifice.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you have to work out what that sacrifice is, and then you be okay with that
Yes.
because the
Yep.
priority is better than what you are sacrificing.
That's good.
So even if it's attitude or it's holding your tongue or it's my rights,
Yeah.
I'm sacrificing them because my priority is David
Yeah.
or my priority is my family
Yeah.
or my
Yes.
priority is the church.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you work out, yes, I am prepared to sacrifice these
Yes.
for the priority of
Yes,
this because
yes.
it is a greater good.
Yes. You said your fourth priority is the church. So God, each other, marriage, then
Children.
and then the church.
Yeah.
That's why I was shocked because money was not there. And while I know money is like somewhere even above God in most marriages,
Yeah.
but I was a little bit shocked. I thought money will be at least second or third, but it's not even on the list. So that's serious. So church, what does it mean to have church as a priority?
Church is our family. Church is, you know, I think it's a God-given institution.
Yeah.
Yes.
You go there, you're with other Christian people, you're encouraged, you
Yeah.
learn,
Yeah.
you sort of, you bump up against people that
Yes.
you don't really get on with.
Iron.
So it's like, you know.
Yes, that's
so
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we have two gifts that God has given us, and
Yeah.
one is worship leading, and
Yes.
the other one is to be an encouragement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inviting people around for dinner and meals and
Yes.
spending time with people, and so we do that in church.
Yeah.
Amen.
So that's part of our priority, knowing that that's what God has given us to do,
Yeah.
to encourage people.
Yeah.
So we do that.
Beautiful.
Now you have four priorities. It doesn't mean other things in your life are not necessary, but you just pick this four. You said we are not going to compromise this four. But you have friends, and you have, let's say, you have now grandchildren, you have children, you have people in your life. They have priorities, and sometimes our friends bring their priorities to us, like they kind of push their priorities to us. How do you manage the tension of navigating other people's priorities? They are not your four priorities, but they are other people's priorities that they want to impose on you.
Yeah. So we were part of a church. So this is the order of which we put God, our marriage, our children, and then church. So
Yes.
this friend wanted the God, church, marriage, children.
Yes.
Sort of wanted to
Reverse.
reverse it, change the order of it.
Yes.
And so the full story is that leading worship on Sunday morning, leading worship Wednesday night.
Yes.
And so we were part of that team. And then one night, as we were walking out the door, our Rachel, who was doing year 12, was quite upset with things that were happening at school,
Yeah.
Yes.
study. She was quite emotional, and we just sort of had to kiss her goodbye and walk out the door to lead worship. And so we had that discussion that as parents, we're not doing that to our children,
Yeah.
our child again.
Yeah.
So we went and had a discussion saying, you know, we can commit to Sunday morning, but we can't commit to Wednesday night because we need to be at home for our
Yes.
daughter.
Yeah.
It was then brought to us to say, well, church is a priority.
Yes.
So you need to make a decision of whether you're committed to both services
Yes.
or none.
Yeah.
So
Wow,
we
okay.
decided
Yeah.
not to be
Yeah.
committed to both
That's really-
because
Wow.
our children were our priority.
Yeah.
Which was a very hard decision because we felt that's our gift from
Yeah,
God to lead
yeah,
worship.
Yes.
yeah.
But it was, no, God, our marriage and our children and then church. So we then stepped back from worship for a while until Rachel finished year 12.
And then step back in, and it was.
And then step back in. But it was a
Brenda,
decision that...
Brenda and David, you've just opened a can of worms. Can you tell us what the difference between God and church?
That is so, like, this is the first time I've ever
Church
heard it.
and
it's really
God.
cool. That's so good.
Can you explain to us? Because that's what you did there. You differentiated church and God. And we need to be careful there, because sometimes church can become a God, or church can lead us to God. So how do you navigate that?
Well, church should lead you to God.
Yes, of course it should.
Yeah, that's right. And so you know, part of us going to different towns and looking at a church,
Yes.
finding a church that's got biblical principles.
Yes.
But churches are full of people,
Yes.
and people are doing the best they can.
Yes.
But we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so we understand that church is such a positive part of our life.
Yes.
But it's not perfect.
Yes.
You know, like, because it's got people in it.
Yeah.
So church is not God.
Yes.
Church is a great platform to lead people to God.
Yes.
So good.
A great platform where we should be loving the community.
Yeah.
People should see church as a place where it's like, oh, they love us, they care for us, they're
Yes.
so nice, they're so kind.
Yeah.
Not, oh, there's these rules and there's this. And
Yeah.
that's part, like, there is things you've
Yeah.
got to do. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the priority is, love God, love people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that should be coming out of the church.
Yeah.
And so for us, the church is a great institution, and but it's not God.
Yeah. So you understood that church being number 4 on your list, someone wanted to put it as number 2 or something, because your family comes third, and you felt like, no, we have to prioritize. You were not leaving the church.
No.
Or you were not even stopping serving.
No.
You wanted to serve in one service,
Yeah.
and the person wanted you to serve twice per week. I think that wisdom there was
So
needed
much.
to understand.
So
You
much
you were giving your best. You were not even stepping down. You were just, reorganizing your schedule, and they wanted you to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
But to be fair for them too, like that was their history, and that's the way the church operated, and it's like, well, that's fine. I don't, if
Yeah.
that's the rules you make. It's
Yeah.
still a great church,
Yeah.
and it was still
Yeah.
a great place to be.
Yeah.
But it was one of the most difficult
Yeah.
times we've had, because it sort of did have that combination of faith priorities, and then sort of people, church, and then people
Yeah.
that you respect. They've
Yeah.
got different priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like, well, it's good. You can have that.
Yeah.
But I've got no right
Yes.
to tell you that you should have my priorities.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So you're not asking people to have the same priorities.
No,
You're
definitely
saying
not.
this is yours.
Yes.
Everyone can pick, can rearrange them. You
Yeah.
just need them.
Yes.
You need the priority. You can't just live a life.
And you need to know what you base your priorities on.
Yes.
So we, from the get-go, have based our priorities on biblical principles.
Yeah.
That's what we've done. And so if you don't want to do that, I can't tell you how to prioritise your
Yeah.
life.
yeah.
But you've got to know what
What your priorities
Because
are.
you're going to be sacrificing things for your priority.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
have to have them steadfast, because you're going to be giving up things. And you will. You'll have to give up things for
Yeah.
your priority.
Yeah.
And we're very grateful that we did. We've
So
got children who love Jesus, who married men and women who love Jesus,
Yes.
and they're bringing children up who love Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is sort of the best.
The fruit.
Yes.
Money cannot buy that.
Oh, no, it doesn't
Exactly
get,
right.
in
Yeah.
my mind, it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amen. Now, another tricky situation for me. I think it might be just simple for you, because everything just seems to be simple for you. That's flowing. But
Wisdom. That's
but-
also wisdom.
you came up with priorities for the two of you. Do you have some personal priorities, like something that David values the most and something that Brenda values the most? Do you have that, like your personal kind of thing? This is for me, David, this means a lot. For David, for me, Brenda, this means a lot. So personal, individual priorities, do you have that? And if yes, how do you manage those?
What I understand from what you're saying
Yes.
is, like, we've got our things that we enjoy doing,
Yes.
which are separate to
Yes.
each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I love getting on my motorbike and going for a ride. I like,
Yeah.
like going to the gym, like going doing stuff like that. And I've got mates that I ride with.
Yes.
But I do that, but I don't prioritise that if something else is happening.
Yeah.
So I used to ride dirt bikes. Like, I just love it. That's a passion of mine.
Yeah.
And I had mates that did it. And when Jono, my son, was growing up, he got a bike, and we used to ride together. And as he was learning, so instead of going out with all my mates, I'd go and follow Jono around a paddock.
Oh, good.
And it's like, they go, come ride. And it's like, oh, no, Jono's riding around, so we'll just go for a little ride. And so I was still on my bike, but my priority was being with my family.
Yeah.
But my son's more important than my mates.
Yeah.
So, but I love the bike.
Yeah.
And now Jono's a lunatic on a bike, and we have a great time together. My
loves his
son-in-law
bike.
rides a bike, and we have a great time together. And so, I still love riding with my mates.
Yeah.
I've got some great mates that we go riding with, and sometimes we'll go away for, the weekend or for 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
Not all the time, because I like doing stuff with Brenda.
Yeah.
But, Brenda goes, oh, if you want to go, that's fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Brenda, do you have some of the things that you feel like they mean something to you, but they mean nothing to David?
Yeah, I enjoy sewing.
Sewing,
making quilts. So I've
Yeah.
made a quilt for each of the grandchildren and for other people, and so I can lose myself in the sewing room for hours.
Wow.
So I enjoy that. So it's lovely.
That's your recharge time. You recharge when you're doing that.
I love being creative.
Yeah.
So it's my creative part of me.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you sacrifice your personal priorities, if I would call them priorities, for the common priorities?
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely.
So your sewing or your bike riding doesn't come before God, church, family, and God, your marriage,
family,
and church.
Yeah.
Everything else you enjoy doing doesn't come before that.
Exactly right.
Sometimes we make that mistake because my preference is, if I love riding bikes, so this will come even before God, or it will come. Okay, maybe most Christians will try not to put it before God, but it will come at least before marriage, or it will come before family, and things like that. You see those mistakes we make as priorities. Do you have something to say in that space to someone who has got their priorities, like something they really, really, really love? Maybe going to the gym, or maybe
Going fishing.
Going fishing.
Which I really
How
don't
did you
understand.
come up with that? How did you kill the self to the
Kill the self.
That's what the Bible says.
Yeah.
Like, die to self.
Yes,
You know,
and
how
it
did
is
you
a
get to that
sacrifice.
place where you said, "I'm not going to ride my bike every weekend with my friends. I will stay having coffee with Brenda."
Yeah, but the bent that you're putting on it
Yes.
is like it's a negative thing, and it's not. So
It feels bad.
Yeah, but
it feels maybe not. Yes, sometimes it feels like tough.
well, see,
How do you want me to sugar? I don't like. Yeah, help me, please. Help me.
you were going to say something, did you?
Well, it is a sacrifice,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
sacrifices are tough.
Yeah, exactly.
And so sometimes it could be holding your tongue, and that's tough.
Yes.
But through life, you get to see God's bigger picture.
Yes.
So relationship is more important than me saying what I feel right now.
Wow.
So it's like, hold my tongue, that's tough. But I know the bigger picture is better.
Yeah.
So God's got his ways are better.
Yeah.
So you know that, what Scripture says is good. And so, yes, it is tough. But so over the course of life, we've seen God being faithful. Where we have sacrificed things, God is faithful.
Yeah.
So it's not it is a sacrifice, but we know that there's joy in the reward of giving those priorities.
That's really good, because it sounds like in the 37 years you've been married, you've seen, when you sacrifice, you've seen God come through. And then you sacrifice, you see God come through to the point where you've realized that, hey, we have to trust God, and it's fine. However that feels, we'll see Him again, because He's never He's never failed us. Whenever He's always shown Himself faithful to us, and so that sacrifice, it is a sacrifice, but because you've seen God come through over and over and over, you don't really feel like it is. That's why David says, I don't think it is, because you've seen. Actually, it's I really agree with you when you say you see that I've done, this is, I see God come through.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how he was going to do it, but he did it. And so it teaches you this almost unrealistic faith.
Yeah.
I don't know if faith is realistic, but yeah.
It seems like David has done it quite so long
In that he's learned-
now enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like for him, it's like a process that I've dealt with
God's
that,
got
I've dealt
it.
with that, I've dealt
Yeah.
with that.
But it's not. But I've still got a motorbike downstairs. I still ride it. I still have a great
Yeah,
time. You know?
yes,
So it's not as if
yeah.
I've just cut it.
Yes.
No.
It's just in the right place.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so
I agree.
So
Go ahead.
when you talk about priorities, you're not
Yeah.
asking people to stop doing
oh
the things
heck
they
no!
enjoy.
Oh no!
You're asking
Not at
people
all.
to just
Adjust them.
adjust them.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to time.
Yes.
Like, don't give them the time they don't require from
Yeah.
you, because marriage requires time, God needs time, family requires time,
Yeah.
and church needs your time.
Yeah.
So those are the places where your time will go first.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then other things. You are not, you still sew,
Yeah.
you still do your things, you still ride your bike.
Yeah.
You were talking about holding your tongue. I really want to go there a little bit. The sacrifice of holding your tongue is part of the priorities. Can you
That
give
is
us some
such a
examples?
big thing,
Can you give us
Brenda.
some examples? Like because I think we struggle to hold our
Yeah.
tongues. a lot.
Yeah, you see it, you say it.
What
you
are
don't
the
like
things
it, you
that
say it.
don't say?
Yeah.
What are the things that you don't say because you are prioritizing God, marriage, family, and church?
I've got a bit of an idea.
Yes.
So I think I'm not, because it's our family, I'm not going to go into specifics.
Yes.
However,
Yeah.
as your kids grow up
Yeah.
Yes.
and they're adults,
Yeah.
what right have you got to tell them what to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a child, you feel as though, you know, like you got to guide your kids, you got to, you know, and then, but they get to a point and they do stuff and it can hurt you
Yeah.
and you can see it falling apart or you can see whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I've got no right
Yeah.
Yes.
to say stuff. If you ask me my advice, that's
I'll
fine.
give
So
you,
good.
But you know, and so you hold your tongue, or you see things happening in front of you that your kids are doing, or your adult children.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you just go, if I go down that track, like I feel like I've got every right to say something.
Yeah.
Yes.
But why? Why have I? Like if they're an adult.
Yeah.
And so if I say it, you can see that, that's going to cause angst here, that's going to be
Yeah.
drama, and they need to work it out for themselves anyhow.
Yeah.
And so I find myself, you know, like if the kids ask me, just in a loving way, say what
Yeah.
I think, and it's like, but it's your life, your decision, you do what you like. But I've got no right, and that's I think for me that's a you know, when I hold my tongue, I feel like that's a sacrifice, that's
Yes.
a priority. It's like, okay, priority is my family.
Yeah.
And so for them to, and our relationship, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I would, like, my family's so important, and the relationship, to be able to ring your kids up and just talk to them, you know, and they make their own way in life and they make their different decisions, and
Yeah.
so they should be able to.
Yeah.
But to still have that relationship in the midst of that,
Yeah, worth
Yeah.
holding
So
your tongue.
good.
Are
Yeah,
there
that's good.
anything that you don't say to Brenda, or Brenda doesn't say to you because you want to protect the relationship?
I don't tell her to put her shoes away. Oh, no, that's not funny. That's very serious, Mike. So
Yeah, okay, we are listening. Let's try to stop laughing.
Oh, it's so
Okay,
good.
tell us.
So I don't know, but I'm a bit of a clean freak.
Yeah.
And so that's just the way I am, you know, and I love stuff being clean and tidy. And,
Yeah.
and Brenda's always, she's just a little whirlwind, like on the go all the time.
Yeah.
And so as she walks in the door, in her head, she's probably got 5 things she wants to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the 6th or 7th is put your shoes away. And so she walks in the door, kicks the shoes off there,
Yes,
and then she's on the go.
yes,
And it's like, I always manage to get my shoes into the cupboard.
yes.
And I'm pretty busy, not as busy as you, but, you know, and so I did mention that a few times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't go down amazingly well. so like, what I did, I just made the decision to go, okay, well, what are shoes, really? It doesn't matter.
Yes.
So when I see Brenda's shoes, I just pick them up, walk them to the cupboard and put them in her cupboard
So
and close
good,
the door.
David. Yeah.
Oh,
and that's what I do.
Yeah.
But it's that attitude thing. I mean, it's a crazy thing, but little stuff like that can start bigger stuff.
Oh.
Yes, of course.
And it's like, so it's like, rightio, it's just shoes. Don't worry about it. She is Brizzy. So,
Cooking your tea.
well, see what we've started?
Yeah.
See what's happened?
That is so good. Yeah,
Anyhow.
it's really good because those little things in marriages, the things people fight about, they start from a little, and then it snowballs into this big thing. And some people have fought over like a spoon or whatever, a cup or something.
Yeah.
And so for you to be like, okay, it's shoes. I'm just gonna pick them up and keep them. And she's actually cooking you tea, so it makes more sense.
Brenda, is there anything
Not
else
always.
David
Not
does
always.
that you just hold your tongue, like you don't say anything, but you would like to say something?
Well, as part of those lines,
Yes.
because he's a bit of a minimalist, and he doesn't like rubbish. So
Yeah.
everything either has its place or it's thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I used to find things would get thrown out before I was ready for them to be thrown out.
That's the right way to say it. Before you were ready for them to.
Yes,
They were still useful.
they were still useful,
Yeah.
especially if they were like a wedding invitation.
Yeah.
You know, and he
Oh.
chopped out before the actual date because
With the address and the time and everything.
it was written on the calendar, so he thought he could throw it.
Yeah.
So he's learnt now not to throw things out until after the event
Yes.
is on, then he's allowed to throw it out.
Okay, beautiful.
But he will go to the cupboard, and if there's 3 biscuits left, he'll just chuck the box out
Yeah.
because it's taking up space.
Yeah, wow.
Then there's still 2.
Yeah, because two's not enough to keep. So, or if there's this much jam in the bottom of the jar, he'd chuck
that
the
away.
jam. But I knew he doesn't want clutter. So the world that he was working in
Yes.
was clutter, noise, anger, angst. So home was peaceful.
Yeah.
So part of being peaceful was a clean house, everything in its place, and getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
So I would
To
have
maintain the clean.
Yes.
Common.
So that was I had a little box that I put things in so that it wouldn't get thrown out before it's time, before I was ready. And so it's sort of that, okay, anything that I need to stay out, right, put it away.
So on the kitchen bench, Brenda's got a section on the kitchen bench,
Yes.
and I'm not allowed to touch stuff
No.
there.
Yeah.
Well
And actually
done.
now that's
I know.
gone into it. Yes.
I know that I can't touch that.
Yes.
Doesn't end well.
Those are still useful.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're
They're not ready to be
No,
thrown.
not ready to be thrown out. Bits
Yeah.
of paper that just need there for
For something.
something.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Wow.
So good. I love it.
So when you see that, you just don't talk about it. You know that's who he is. You
Yeah.
don't want to start an argument
No,
about
that's
that.
right.
You just,
Yeah.
But you learned that it was not like that at the beginning. It's because you prioritize your marriage.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like, who
Bigger
cares?
picture. Yeah.
Yes.
Like, if things get thrown out, if 2 biscuits get thrown out, the box gets thrown out before, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think it's that working out what does matter, what is worth bringing angst between us, and if it doesn't matter, hold your tongue.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Wow.
Like, it might take you a couple of days to get over, but
Wow.
it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
in
Wow.
the big picture.
Yeah, big picture.
So you said to us you have 4 major priorities. God, I don't know how many times I will repeat this. It's
such a
just
cool one.
simple,
So cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
God, your marriage, your family, and
the
church.
church.
What do you have anything to say to marriages out there that are still trying to figure out what are their priorities and how do they find out their priorities and how do they maintain them? It sounds like a lot of work, even though it's now kind of easy to you, but for some people
it's not easy.
yes. So what can you say to other couples concerning priorities?
Yeah.
People can be married for 37 years
And don't have-
still getting wrong
Yeah.
with the space of priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any suggestions?
See any advice? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think is remembering, because you're together and you're married, there must have been something at the start
Yeah.
that ignited a spark in you
That's
for that
so
other
good,
person.
David. Yeah.
Go back and remember that. And make it happen again.
Yeah.
You know, like, because there's always all these life experiences, but this is the thing I love about her. You know, I love that she's busy. I love that she's always out there doing stuff, and she's, you know, and so because of that, she leaves her shoes there.
Yeah.
But that's the person I married was out there doing stuff and busy
Yeah.
and sort of involved in stuff and having a go at stuff, and I love that.
Yeah.
And so go back to the thing that sparked it, think about it,
So good.
and take your relationship back to there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You know,
Beautiful.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Brenda and David. We really enjoyed this. I hope you did too.
No, we did.
And I really believe so many people will learn from you guys.
Yes.
It's such a blessing we are learning. We've just learned, like,
Yes.
thank you for giving us a big lesson because it works. And so to just learn about priorities, because we want marriages out there suffering because of this wisdom that you guys have, and just giving that.
Yeah. They don't have
They don't have priorities. And so
or
you've
they
helped.
confuse their priorities.
Yeah, and you've helped, and just the God, marriage, family, and church. Like, that's like amazing.
Yeah.
Because I was like wondering why God and church, and then when you explained it, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, this is so true. Thank you so much.
No, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, it's been good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. We hope you had a good time, because we did have a good time. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when we post new episodes. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.